Happy interview for me today. I've got a Navy gentleman with me, and his name is Percival George Pay.
Percy. Not Pay.
See, he's prompted me already. It's Percy George Pay, he tells me. It's a pleasure to have him with us today, and he has quite a career to tell us about. He got into our Navy very early on in the conflict, and I'll start off right away without any further preamble. Percy, where were you from originally?
Montreal.
Montreal.
St. Charles.
Uh-huh. You were born there?
I was born and raised right there.
And educated in Montreal?
I skated in Montreal, schooled in Montreal, and everything in Montreal.
And everything in Montreal.
Yeah.
You joined the Navy in Montreal?
I joined the Navy in Montreal.
Okay,
HMCS Donnacona.
Donnacona.
On Mountain Street.
Famous ship.
Yeah.
Famous ship in the Canadian Navy annals.
Yeah.
Okay, when were you born?
August the 19th, 1920.
1920, all right, sir. And you made it till 39, of course. And,
That's right.
You're getting your education and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Anything about your early life you want to tell us about?
Well, the one thing is, why did I join the Navy?
Yes, well.
There was no work.
Oh, really?
There was no work around or anything like that.
Yeah.
And some of my buddies, I originally started with the old Victoria Rifles Army in Montreal.
Oh, you started off to join the Army first, eh? Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Too much drinking.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this
But he
is
came
a
to
normal
the right
thing.
service. Nobody ever drank in the Navy.
Oh, never. Nobody just swallowed it. But there's a funny part about that. You know, Austin, I went through that service.
Yeah.
I never smoked, and I never drank.
You're kidding.
No, I never drank or smoked.
That in itself, you should have a medal there for that.
For that.
Yes.
There, as they said, I used to go line up for my tot and that.
Yeah.
That was the regular
Yes,
thing.
I
But
bet there was a lineup for
yeah.
it, yeah.
But I always had a buddy back.
Did you? Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
never was interested. And don't forget, I knew all about it.
Yes, yeah.
'Cause my father was one of the biggest drunkards that you ever
Oh,
wanted
no,
to meet.
really?
And maybe this is why I
Maybe
learned.
that's why you
young.
didn't go at it yourself.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
But anyway, now you were in the Army to start with,
Yeah.
and you didn't like it for whatever
No.
reasons. And what did you do? How did you get out of that?
Well, I didn't get a uniform because
Oh,
I
I
only
see.
went to one night.
Uh-huh, and then you
On
said,
the
that's
way
not
home,
for me.
my buddies
Yeah.
and I were talking, and he said, well, I'm going to join the Navy because I don't like the Army. I said, well, good, I'll go with you.
And so you did.
So that's how we got into the Navy.
Navy, uh-huh. And what did they do with you now in Montreal?
Well,
They took you somewhere and trained you?
my work, or,
Yeah.
I was an apprentice pattern maker.
Uh-huh.
Now, the only reason I got this job was I was a young fellow, and they said, look, I won't go back on that part, but anyways, they said, there's a job for you. Either you take it or you're not going to get in trouble.
Oh, what's
So-
a pattern maker? What is
You work, for instance, there's a pin there.
Yeah.
You draw that in wood, and you make it
Oh.
in wood first before you make it in metal.
I see. Oh,
Now,
I see.
The
Okay.
pattern, the place I worked in was Jenkins Valves in Montreal, St. Henry. It was for these water valves and
Oh, yes.
big hydraulic valves and that's used all over the place, and
I
the
see.
taps and
Yes,
everything like
okay.
that. And, well, that was the only work.
Yeah.
And so finally, when I got my uniform for the Navy, they said, good, you are going to Halifax for summer training.
Right.
Now, this is great for me because I had never been outside of Montreal. You know, I used to swim and everything and on Torture Wharf in Verdun in Montreal. Huh? So we come to Halifax and did our summer training.
Oh.
Now, so I qualified a naval seaman when I went
Yeah.
back at the end of August. And I was home for about 3 days. And Long John come to the door, he asked my name, and I told him, he said, good, you get your gear, you're going to Halifax again. I said, oh, what's the matter?
Okay.
He said, they think the war is going to be declared. So that is the start of my service of getting down to Halifax.
Halifax, and when you got
And I come up here on the old 2x4 trains he used to have with the wooden carts and that into it. And
the old DAR trains.
And he used to say he stopped at every mile to let the milkman out.
Yeah. But anyway, now the war did start when you arrived in Halifax, didn't it?
Oh, yes,
yeah. Were you here long, or had it begun when you got here?
No, it was just starting.
Was it?
Because they put us right into the signal school right away.
Yeah.
And,
well, now, at that time, Percy, the Canadian Navy didn't have too much equipment, did they?
They had nothing.
Nothing.
We had minesweepers.
Minesweepers.
Don't forget, my summer training was done on the Fundy, HMCS Fundy, which was one of the old minesweepers.
And is it not true that they had some of these? They had fake guns on them.
Oh, yes, we had a 4-inch wooden gun on ours.
Yes,
yeah. And I can remember going out on many a convoys with these wooden guns on the ships and that. And the biggest gun we had was the Vickers machine gun up on the bridge.
Oh.
Especially on the Corvettes.
That's neat. Now, I'll tell you a story. One of the ships, this is a story that I was told in the Navy. One of our ships went out Halifax Harbor, and they were patrolling off the harbor, and went by, the HMS Hood went by, and she was about as big as Halifax itself. A huge battleship went by. And the minesweeper, whatever the Canadian Navy ship was, with a fake wooden gun in the front of it, said, please identify yourself. And there was no answer from this big, huge battleship. Finally, the little ship again gave another signal: answer, or we will open fire on you. The big ship, finally, the light blinked on it, and the light said, "Carry on, Canada, in your gallant little ship." And it went by.
Well, you know, going out of Halifax, it's a wonder Halifax wasn't blown off the map.
Oh, it was, yes.
You know. Because I, by the way, was in the movies.
Were you?
Remember the Corvette 225?
Yes, I do.
Right. I'm on that movie. I'm in the front of it. And how you could tell, if you could think, 3 of the seamen stood up on the bow, and one fellow had a big leather belt on.
Yes.
Homemade leather belt. Yeah. Well, I made that belt.
For him.
And I wore that belt around. And to make it worse, we went out as Corvette 225 on the starboard side.
Yeah.
And we come back as HMCS Bucktooth 179 on the other side. So Sandwich Battery sitting over there.
Yeah.
Now Sandwich was very prompted on the ball.
Yeah.
Except they saw the Kitchener go out.
Yes.
Saw the Bucktooth come in. Stop.
Oh.
Be recognized.
Oh.
So me being a signal, I flashed her code sign over them.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were not recognized. Stand to.
Yeah.
Because that's when they send the examination vessels out to us.
Yeah.
So when they got out and got us straightened out finally, every time we went out that harbor, we had to be challenged to come back in, because here we were, 2 numbers. And that's what they said, you screwed up the Navy, you really did it.
Okay, Percy, now we've got to get serious.
And by the way, I met Randolph Scott. He was in that movie.
Oh, I know he was.
Yeah, and I met him, quite a chat with him.
Okay, now we have to get serious about your career, okay? So now you were a signalman.
Yes.
Yes. And you were trained for that where, in Halifax? Or?
In Halifax, right, in the old HMCS Venture.
Yeah, that was your first ship?
Yeah, which was the signal school.
All right.
Then I was transferred out to Port Moore Signal Station out at Ketch Harbor.
Oh,
There's quite a little story on that.
Yeah.
This signal station was set up right up on Bald Rock.
Yeah.
And to get to it, you had about a 3-mile walk.
Oh.
So now, when you went in, you were in maybe 48 hours and come out 24.
Oh, yeah.
You put your rubber boots on, and you walked down the 3 miles. You stopped at the neighbor's home, the Nickersons. I'll never forget them.
Yeah.
You had a piece of apple pie or a piece of bread or something like that, and changed your shoes, and he would drive you into town because he had to bring groceries in for the tower.
Oh, yes.
And this is how we got back and forth on it.
Oh,
It was
that's
quite a
interesting.
life on it.
Yeah.
It's,
Now, where did you sail in your boat? Did you get overseas? Did you get
oh,
to-
yes, I was
Did you?
overseas. I was up in Reykjavik, Iceland. I was up in Murmansk.
Murmansk Run, did you do?
Murmansk
Yes.
Run,
Yeah.
too, all that, yeah.
Oh, right.
And that's when the Candy Tough got it. We were up on that trip, running
yeah.
all through the, she got it off Halifax here, but she was
Yeah.
on the back column.
Yes,
We were
yes.
on it.
Yeah.
And as I said, that North Atlantic Squadron, as you know, you can get some bad weather out
Oh,
there.
very bad weather. That was the
Seven,
worst
as they used to
assignment.
say, 7 days we were on one wave, and Coca-Cola was 25 cents a bottle.
But now I hear you were in boxing too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I took the welterweight out of the British Navy.
Of the British Navy?
Yeah, of HMS Renown.
Really? Did
Yeah.
you?
Oh, no, sorry, Revenge.
Revenge,
He was
yes,
he was
okay.
in there. And then we fought down at the YMCA here in Halifax.
Did you fight the British guys there?
Right there.
Right there,
In
in-
YMCA there. We
Did
did
you?
that.
Did
yeah.
you?
Then we fought at the old Halifax Armies.
Oh, yes.
That
out on
was
the
quite
common
an
there,
incident. That was. We had a Navy championship match.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after it was over, they gave us our trophies.
Yeah.
Mine was a cigarette case.
A
I
cigarette.
didn't smoke, but I got
Yeah.
a cigarette case. I stuck it in my jumper,
Yes.
and we went to the dance.
Yes.
So at the dance, somebody said, "Hey, let's look at that cigarette case." And I pulled it out, and it's as green as you want to see somebody that's been at sea for about 7 days. I said, "Now look, there's what you get for boxing." I said, "That's it." And I took and I
Yeah.
broke it and I threw it away. I said, "That's the
Did
end
you?
of fighting." And I never fought after.
Never fought again?
Never fought after,
Oh
no.
my gosh.
I was so disgusted about, well, when we fought on
Yeah.
the Revenge, at least they gave us a good meal.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah.
But,
So now, did you get into any actions during your career?
well, actually, I couldn't say
Yeah.
we had anything serious.
No.
But I was with the convoy that we lost. What was that French sub? Surkoff.
Oh, the Surkoff. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
they lost her. That she lost some of our ships, or she took some of our ships down.
Yes.
with her,
Right.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the action itself,
Yeah.
I guess it was there. You never knew. I
Oh
mean,
no, no. If you
yeah.
were in the North Atlantic Squadron,
All
you
right.
were in their action all the time
Right,
because
yeah.
it was going over and back.
And
Yeah.
the one trip, I've got to tell you this because I'll live with it as long as I live.
Yeah.
We were over in Londonderry, and the skipper says, "We're heading back. We're going down to Galveston, Texas for refit. Now don't forget, we are on HMS,
Right. Yeah.
Trillium.
Oh, you
Corvette.
were not
The first-
HCMS.
no, HMS.
HMS. Okay.
This is why we were the first ones to wear HMCS on our tunics,
Yeah.
on our jumpers.
Yeah.
And he said, but there's one thing about it. He said, we got an awful lot of cooked ham and stuff like that on board. He says, I'm not going to order any more fresh stuff. He
Yeah.
said, we got to eat this stuff up.
Yeah.
That was all right. 7 days later, going up into Galveston, Texas, we were still eating ham. So finally the skipper says, all right, you're going on leave. So we got on the train, by the way, and come right across the state by train, and they didn't fly it, and
Yeah.
the Navy had to take the train. They couldn't fly it. They weren't allowed to fly it.
Right.
I got home for supper that night and glad
Yeah.
to see my wife and my children and all.
Yeah.
What did I have for supper? Cooked ham. And the wife wondered why
Why
I
you were
could
upset.
not eat
Yeah.
cooked ham.
I quite understand that. Now, you were in the North Atlantic Squadron, so that meant, did you leave from Newfoundland to go to Derry?
Yes.
Yeah, that run, yes.
Yeah, we're in what they call a dairy run.
Yeah, the Derry run. Yes.
And as another
London
part,
there.
well, as we went up, we had a couple of days in London there,
Yeah.
and naturally, young fellas that don't drink, you go visiting places.
Yes,
We went,
yeah.
So we went up to Tobermory in Scotland.
Oh, did you?
And
On the island of Mull.
yeah,
Yes,
and
right.
we got on there, and maybe 100 yards or so, we were
Yeah.
away from this Willis Tobacco Company. We did not know it was Willis Tobacco at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we heard these bombs coming,
Yeah.
and they blew her right off the map.
Oh, my
And it blew her all to pieces. I don't know how many bodies were lost at it.
Oh, my
But,
goodness.
you know, it was, this, I can say, is the honest close as we come. Outside, we were in the Thames.
Yes, yes, okay.
Do you remember the area shelters you used to have on the side of the roads?
Yes,
Right?
I do indeed, yes. Yeah.
Ask the man who met one face on.
Oh, no, really?
Come out of the pub, and
Yeah.
as you come out of the pub, you move this curtain aside and close it quick.
Yes, yes.
Then you walk out into the headlight.
Yeah.
Bang! Right smack dead, face on into this area shoulder. And the part was, I was in this pub. We only went in to say because I wasn't drinking that.
Yeah.
But you know, they were accused us of being drunk.
I can understand that. I can understand why they would do that. Now, there's a story, too, you have about your mustache. Did you have a great big mustache? at one
well,
time? Did they let you do that in the Navy?
no.
No.
Oh no, this was my army
This
career.
is your army. We're going
I
back.
had 26 years with the militia, PLF, by the way, from Halifax.
Oh.
Leo Simmons, you knew him.
Now, this was after the war?
After the war. I would come out after the war.
Yeah.
So anyways, me being a drill instructor, I was handed a bunch of women, CWAC, teach them basic drill.
Yeah.
Now, if you want trouble, you get a bunch of women together.
Yes.
And one man there.
Yeah.
Not trouble to really make things bad, but
No.
make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So
Irksome
they
trouble.
would not do as they were told. I'd say right turn, they'd turn left, and they'd say quick march, and they'd stop, and everything
Yeah.
like that. So I marched them all in a single line,
Yeah.
right to the wall of the Armies, North Park Street Armies,
Yeah.
1 foot away. And I made them put their hands out like that. I
Yeah.
said, now extend your fingers.
Yeah.
I said, now touch the wall.
Yeah.
And they touched the wall. And they made them take a step back.
Yeah.
So which means they were like this.
Yes, sure. Leaning against the
Leaning.
wall. Yeah.
So I hear a noise from up in the balcony. Says, Major, what are you doing? I said, sir, it's all right. I said, I hear there's a bomb attack and these girls have volunteered to hold the wall up. He says, but don't keep them there too long. So that's what happened to CWAC.
Okay, now, Percy, we have to go back here a bit. We have to rewind. You were in the Navy,
Yeah.
and then the war ended, obviously. And you got out of the Navy and then went in the militia.
In militia.
So you started in the Army, didn't like the Army, went in the Navy, and when the war's over, you go back into
the Army.
Army. Yeah, that's straight. But you didn't mind the militia.
No. Well, the reason I didn't mind the militia, a great friend you knew, your father knew him too,
Yeah.
Leo Simmons.
Yes, oh yes.
I was down the rifle range one night. We had to put a competition on with the Army because we didn't know them then, but and Leo, I was talking about, I'd like to get into do a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
He said, join the Army.
Uh-huh.
I said, yeah, do you do much shooting? Oh, yeah. He said, you can go to Ottawa, you can go to Bisley if you want.
Yeah.
Some of the old ears start to pick up.
Pick up at
I
that,
said,
yes, because you like to
"That's
shoot.
it."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
an expert marksman at
Yeah.
that. And this is why I say today these kids is going to do this home invasion. They won't allow me to have a rifle. I'd blow the bloody heads off. But anyways, I joined the Army.
Yeah.
I come up here to Aldershot. So a couple of years later, I go back to Aldershot again. I'm
Yeah.
jumping ahead because nothing happened in between
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I was on the praise car, and we had just finished putting through a bunch of Bermuda cadets.
Yes.
Now, you get young kids, boy, you're getting a different class of
Yes,
men to
you
work
are,
with,
yes,
you know.
you are, yeah.
And they were good, but they were rough on us because we were older than they were,
Yes,
so they could move. So after it was all over, the old RSM, Finney,
Yeah.
Great old gentleman, great old gentleman. We had a party in the mess. By this time, I was drinking because I got into it. You know?
Oh, yes, yeah.
We were drinking, and I went to bed. Now,
Yeah.
I had the full handlebars.
Bars,
Come right
oh,
up
yeah.
under here.
Yeah.
Went to bed, sleep, got
Yeah.
up in the morning. Bleary-eyed, walked over and looked in the
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, somebody, I was only half the guy here, where's the other half? So after I wake up and come to my senses, I find out I have lost
Half your
one half the
handlebar.
mustache.
One handlebar.
And I was trade sergeant major that
Oh,
morning.
my goodness.
So
Did you
I
shave
left
the
it
other
like,
half off?
no, I
No?
left it like that. And I went right out on parade.
With the half of
With the half
mustache?
the mustache.
Oh, dear.
And the colonel said, you're on properly dressed, Sergeant Major. I said, no, I'm not, sir.
Yeah.
I am full uniform. Here I am here, ready to take my parade over. He said, Sergeant Major, have you looked in the mirror? I said, yes, I did. I said, you say anything, sir? I said, I'll kick your bloody head in for you. Well, he couldn't help. He had to go back and laugh. You know? Well, you know, I went all through camp, and I
Yeah.
never did find out who did
Who did that?
Never
Yeah,
did.
someone
no.
you were attacked
Yeah.
in the night.
But you're talking about a hard thing to do, you know.
Yeah.
Try to stand there and look sober.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
half a mustache.
Now, Percy, after all this fun that you had in the Army, in the Navy, and then back in the Army, when you got into civilian life, this was after 1945, what did you do?
Electronic test technician.
Electronic technician.
Yes.
Very good.
I taught myself, by the way. I taught it through correspondence courses.
Yeah.
Which you didn't ask me this time. My education was grade 8.
Mm-hmm.
So which means I had an awful lot of learning to do.
Yes, yeah.
So I qualified, got my certificate on it, and started to work at EMI Cost Electronics. That's when they were on Windsor Street.
Yes, yeah.
All this equipment that you see, most of it was built there at the time. Well, the older type cameras. And,
Yes, yes.
and I got into that. And that's
Oh,
what I
yes.
said.
And you worked there until you retired. When did you retire?
Retired in 1980.
1980.
Yeah.
And how did you get to this part of the country? Because you live around here.
Well, I have a wife that likes to travel. The third wife, by the way.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
kept trying looking for the good one, you know.
You found her.
I think I found it. I hope so.
Yeah.
And we were, what I was doing when I left EMI Coster, I worked for a firm in Dartmouth repairing
Yeah.
basketball and hockey scoreboards.
Oh, yes.
No,
yes.
I was the only
The
one.
electronic scoreboards.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those bingo things too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was the only one east of Montreal doing this.
Oh.
So I was called. You never know where I'd be called. I'd be home 10 minutes from down here next
Yeah.
week and that. But we come through to go to Bridgetown Regional High School to
Yeah.
repair their scoreboard. We went by. There's a farm up here used to be in Wilmot called Sleepy Hollow,
Yeah.
just on the brow of the hill.
Yes, yes.
Man. And the wife was very interested in the property. She says, I want that. And first, you know, me being the boss, I said, yes, you can have it. And that's how we got here to the valley.
Ah, okay. Do
Then
you
I
enjoy
got-
it here?
Pardon?
Do you enjoy it here?
Yes, I
Lovely
do.
part of the world, isn't it?
Yes, I love it.
Good,
I really do.
Yeah.
As I said, there's one thing I like about it. If you don't like the weather in Nova Scotia, wait 5 minutes. It'll
And
change.
It'll change, yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Well,
And as I said, I've met wonderful friends up in through here.
yeah.
A lot of young people and a lot of veterans now.
Yes, yeah.
Of course. The
Yes,
old
I think
Branch
it's-
98 there.
Yes, I think it's
That's,
a lovely place to live.
Uh,
Well, this has been a great pleasure for me, I must say.
well, Lawson,
you
this is
give-
going back because, as I said, when connected your name to the store
Yes,
on Holland
yeah,
Barrington
oh, yes,
Street,
yes,
now,
yeah.
This
The old piano
really
company.
brought back, and as I said, you knew my colonel, and
Yes, yes, I did.
it's been a wonderful experience.
Well, I've enjoyed it very much.
As
and-
I said, anybody wants to join the service, get in.
Yes,
It's not
and
the same.
I want to
but-
thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's been my
Okay, sir.
pleasure.
Thank you, Percy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to Mr. Percival. He doesn't like that
Percy.
name. He hates that name. See, he's telling me now it's Percy. Percy George Pay. And it was a pleasure for me because I think he had a most interesting career in the Army, the Navy, and back in the Army with a huge mustache. And now I'd like to thank some people before we go. Eastlink, that's our cable company, and they do this wonderful job of getting us on the air to you and getting these tapes done. And this they do very professionally and very wonderfully. I'd also like to thank our producer, Larry Caldwell, and from the Royal Canadian Legion, and the Legion itself. I'd like to thank Branch 98, who are behind this whole
Can I
venture.
interject one
Yes.
minute? I want to thank my wife. She was the one that coaxed me into doing all this.
Fine. I thank Percy's wife for
She-
coaxing him into coming here today. And see you next time. Thank you.